Hi! Today we are trying a lot of new C Beauty launches recently. We have a cushion foundation from Timage. We also have a cushion from Florasis, and along with the new loose powder from Florasis in a lavender shade. And we also have the newest launch from Flower Nose. This first liquid blush from this brand, Flower Nose, and I am very excited about this blush. And we also have a new brand to try. I don't know how to pronounce this name, so if you know, please tell me. We have a Longwear setting spray and a lip gloss to try. That's our victims today, so if you're interested, keep watching. I think last time when I was trying a full face of Timage, I tried their normal liquid foundation, but they have released a new cushion foundation. It's called the Balanced and Radiant Cream Cushion, and I purchased a sample card, of course. I think last time I tried the shade 301, which is a shade for olive skin, so I thought it would be good for me, but it was too light. And apparently the shade 102 is for darker skin tone. I say darker, but you know, darker considered in C Beauty makeup shades. So let's try this. And the other side, I'm gonna try this actually from Florasis, so OG C Beauty, and this is, I'm actually not sure how new this is, but I'm pretty sure it's the newest to them, but not necessarily launched in the past couple days or weeks or something. This little package have 3 little samples in it and even some instructions, which is nice, I guess. 3 shades, and 20, 25, and 30. I think I'm gonna try 30 because I feel like it's safer to go with the darkest shade. If you're wondering why my lips is redder and redder, I mistakenly used the most strong lip plumper on my lips. I thought it was just a normal, a clear lip gloss, so now it's burning. Where were we? Because I just took an afternoon nap, so I'm still a little bit stupid. I don't know what I'm doing actually. Since I forgot what I was going to say, let's just get started with this Timage one. Oh, this shade 102 actually look kind of promising. Oh, I was going to say, my skin type is combination. It can be a little bit oily in summer and a little bit dry in winter, and oily at the T-zone. And also I'm warm olive, light medium skin tone. You can find my shade reference in the description box. It looks very, very thick, right? It's not runny at all, so it's more of a cream foundation finish. Oh, and this shade actually look very, very promising. This is thick, even the spatula is not making it very thin. This is a lot of foundation. Okay, let's see, can we blend this down? And I'm using a new puff. Apparently this is one of the puffs that doesn't really absorb much foundation, and it's from a brand called amortals. In Chinese it's called armutao. Yeah, armutao. And I like that this is a rubber band, so it's stretchy, so you can fit 3 fingers in it. A lot of puffs, this part is not stretchy, so it's kind of hard to put the right pressure. But I like this, that it's rubber band. It's a very small detail, but I appreciate it. So now let's blend this. Yeah, the shade is nice, and the coverage is kind of insane actually. I haven't used a foundation that this level of coverage for a long time. This is really insane. And I think it still absorbed a little bit foundation where it's like a thicker layer, but where it's like a thin layer, it's not absorbing much at all. So I guess the trick is to spread it into very thin layers. Guys, this coverage, I don't know if you can tell, it's kind of crazy. That I mean, I know I don't have that much to cover, so you might not think this is a crazy coverage, but I'm telling you, in real life, my skin is totally covered. It looks like porcelain. Like, see this compared to this side. Like, there's nothing wrong with this side. Like, my skin is pretty nice right now, actually. But it just, I still have natural texture here, right? But this side is like completely flat. And it's hard to find a cushion foundation that's this coverage actually. And it actually looks pretty for how full coverage it is. But the thing is, this shade being the darkest shade is absolutely horrendous. Like, I barely could use it, right? Like, I feel like if it was just a touch lighter, it would have been too light. But I think this level, it's like okay. And it's looking a little bit heavy around my nose, like this area. But my nose right now is like very dry area, so I feel like it could be just because of that. And I feel like it's already set. And I also feel like I probably used too much. If I was actually using like a cushion, I think I could like take a little bit less, because I would be like taking like a puff and stuff, you know? Okay, the other side. This shade doesn't look quite right. Like 30 being this light. Let's blend it a little bit. But this feels way more hydrating, and the formula is way looser. I don't know if you can tell, it's still a thick layer going with this spatula, but it's like a thinner layer compared to the other side, the Timage side. And this is still too much. I guess it's because I was going with half a face. Yeah, too light. Even the shade 30 is too light. I have been on Xiaohongshu, which is RedNote, for a while, and almost every, okay, not like 100%, but almost every tutorial, makeup tutorial that I watched there, people are using foundation that at least 2 shades lighter than their skin tone. I mean, it's just the preference, I guess. The powder really didn't absorb much. I like this side as well. I don't think it's very like glowy either. Both are actually kind of like semi-matte finish. It's not even like a skin finish. I think this would be looking better if I did like more hydrating base, because today I forgot to put on sunscreen. So I feel like if we have that one more layer, they could be looking better. It's just this shade. This side is visibly too light for me, right? This side, I feel like I could go with this. 25 is pretty light as well, but I feel like 25, at least the shade undertone would be better. Like, I feel like 30, if you can tell, it's like a little bit more peachy, whereas 25 is more like a olive, like golden olive kind of undertone. Yeah, with this inside of this container, you can see this is the shade 30 and 25. 25 is lighter but more like golden. I almost feel like that would be a little bit better. Okay, before we put on powder, let's try this liquid blush from Flower Nose. I think this is the first time they put out liquid blushes. If I'm not remembering this wrong, at least for me, this is the first time I see them release a liquid blush. This packaging is like very retro. Strawberry Cupid series liquid blush in the shade 04. And I believe this is the most vibrant shade among all of them. Because for C Beauty, for C Beauty and K Beauty, I almost feel like I have to go a shade that I normally think would be too much for me to actually show on my skin. You know what I mean? Because a lot of time the blush is too light. It almost like a brightening, color correcting concealer type of color on me. So I want an actual blush color, so I bought the most vibrant one. Can you imagine this being the most vibrant shade? But it's like a deeper strawberry, corally, like pinky type of shade. Oh. Initially, I thought like there wasn't much color, and then I think I'm applying too much. It's like cooking. You thought there was like no flavor, and then you just add a little bit more salt. Suddenly, it's too much. But at least we chose a shade that actually has some color. It's actually so pretty, right? I love this shade. Like blend it out. It's such a pretty shade. And I feel like the blush is kind of taking away a little bit of the foundation. Is that just in my mind? Like on this side it's blending pretty nicely actually. But it's not like too bad. I just feel like it's taking away some of the coverage there. Not sure if it's the fault of this blush because on this side it was okay. And it's not even a very liquidy blush. It's very creamy. It's like the Rare Beauty matte blush. It's that type of consistency. Even the doe foot applicator is kind of similar. It's just the same type of very creamy formula. It's not very like runny at all. So I don't know why it's taking away some of this coverage. Like, can you tell? You can see some of the like discoloration again, and before you wasn't seeing it. Maybe Timage foundation is just not it's just not my thing. So for powder, we have this Florasis gorgeous peach blossom powder in the shade 05. This is a purple powder. And it's so cute that they even gave a little puff in here. I love how C Beauty does their samples. It's like usable samples for like not long term because there isn't much product, right? But they're designed for you to use more than once. This powder is pretty. It works very well with this cushion foundation, which I mean I'm not surprised it's the same brand. And I love this little puff. I think this is a very beautiful powder. It's just I'm not sure about this foundation. It's not looking like absolutely like gross or anything. It still looks pretty nice, but I feel like it's starting to look heavy. A little bit, just a tiny little bit. I'm being picky here because I'm judging do I buy a full size or not by trying this sample, which from now, my experience right now, I don't think I'm gonna buy a full size for both of these because first of all, the Florasis one don't have my shade, and the Timage one is looking a little bit weird, especially here. The blush, I feel like it's almost faded completely, with this side is still looking very nice. So I again don't think it's the fault of the blush. It should be this foundation. We have two more from Flower Nose. Butterfly Cloud Color Collection Embossed 6 colors eyeshadow palette, the shade 01, and this very new Strawberry Cupid Collection Makeup Palette in the shade 02. So this one is a like a all-in-one face eyes palette, and this one is just the eyeshadow palette. The cloud color one is very pigmented. With the new strawberry Cupid one is a little bit sheer, but it still has nice pigmentation. And the glitter is more intense at the like strawberry collection, but the cloud color one just has more base color, so it looks more intense and more payoff. But both of these two, the color story looks pretty nice. I want to use both of these, and I'm trying to think how do we do that. Actually, this palette is very viral on Xiaohongshu, but it was the very one was another shade. It was the shade 01, which is a peachy orangey type shade, but for some reason I wanted this one. I already filled in my eyebrow, but I want to try a little bit of these shades. I feel like these three shades could be very good for to fill in eyebrows. Let me try a little bit of this shade mixed with this shade. Not sure how much you can see on the camera, but in real life I can see it. It's a pretty nice color, but it's just very pigmented compared to a normal eyebrow product, so you just have to be more careful. I want to contour my eyes, or like my face generally, and I want to use this shade to do that. It looks like it could be a great shade to contour. And I don't know if you can tell on camera, but there's a lot of kick off. It's a very loosely pressed powder. Actually, I don't really like powder to be like that, but it's not a big deal. And let's do the contour technique that I learned on Xiaohongshu for the recent weeks, which is, I think, for Western people, contouring the nose usually starts from here, but apparently in the Chinese beauty community people don't do that, which I think makes sense. Normally people start from where the eye is, like at the eye level, and do like this. I feel like this color is a little bit too purple for me, but I guess we are trying here, so we're just depositing the product here. The tip of the nose, it's this V shape under the tip of the nose, and also darken the underneath of that V shape. So to lift the tip of your nose, I guess, and to carve on the top as well. And to not connect the top part of the contour and the lower part, like the tip of the nose, too much, so that you have like a very long nose. Just connect this with the eyeshadow part. Again, I feel like this shade is a little bit too purple to do this contour. I can see the purple tint on it. I don't know how well you can see it on the camera though. While we are doing contour, let me contour a little bit under my lips as well. Again and again, I think this shade is too purple to do contour. I feel like contour shade, it could be gray, but it cannot be a purple gray. It has to be a brown or beige type of gray to be able to contour a human face, unless your face is like super cool toned. Okay, now let's use this same shade as the base of eyeshadow. Again, it's like a lot of kickoff. Like, can you see this? Like, it's even flying after I like knock it off. Not sure this powder quality is what I want. I actually way prefer their Midsummer collection eyeshadow palette and their Swan Ballet series eyeshadow palette. Those two are very great. Okay, I think you can see the color. It blends very well. I just don't like this extreme kick off that it has And I'm not even being like very aggressive on the pen as well. I'm just like lightly tapping with brush, which is totally normal to do. Powder, like I can see when I was applying it, I can see the powders are flying here. I feel like on the eyes, weirdly, it doesn't look purple. It's just on my nose, and somehow it looks like crooked here. Even though off the camera it looks straight. I don't know why on the camera it looks weirder, but whatever. So now I want to go with this palette, this shade. This have some kick off as well, but it's way better. Like I can see almost no like kick off on the pen. That means it's not super loose. I feel like these two palettes are on the sheerer side of Flower Nose formulas. Their Swan Ballet one is the most pigmented in my opinion, and then the Midsummer one is pretty nice as well. But the Midsummer one it just don't have much like fun colors. It's more like very neutral one. So if you want good neutral, the Midsummer collection is good. Actually, I bought these two because of the shimmers and glitters. So we're gonna judge that later. Just a tiny little bit of this. Literally just the smallest, tiniest amount. I think today we're having a strong eye makeup, and I haven't done anything like this for a long time. Actually, the mattes blending on the eyes, they look pretty nice, even though they're pretty sheer, but they're even, which is what actually matters. Okay, for glitter, because I want to use some of this on my eyes, not on my face as well, like to try the blush. So I don't want to make this eye makeup too warm. So I'm thinking to use this golden shade and layering with this like more cool tone color, then it wouldn't look like too obviously warm. Whoa. This is intense. See this? And I'm not even like applying that much. And there's not much fallout of this like glitter, which is kind of impressive, right? Like normally you're gonna think the glitter, chunky glitter has like tons of fallout, but this is way better than the Permagraph. Like the Permagraph one, every time I apply it, like I have a million glitters on my under eye, but right now I can only see like one or two, and now I'm like smudging what is on my finger on my cheek, so there's more. For this one, let's layer this shimmer a little bit. This shimmery pink. Oh, these two shades blends together. It's very pretty as well. Oh, I love this. Again, I'm buying these two palettes like half because of the glitters, and now I'm like actually very happy about this. And then this center shade, I think it's the most shiny out of this whole palette. So I'm just gonna lightly tap on top. We're so shiny today. Whoa, we are shiny. Okay, let me finish my eye makeup. Okay, the eye makeup is done. What do you think? I actually really like this, especially the glitters. I think it met my expectation. Look how pretty that is. The three super strong glitters blended together. I'm thinking blowing away some of the flying powders on top of this, because in China people like to apply blush like with two colors. One is called kind of like direct translation, like atmosphere color, and the other is point color. And in another way, people also do like a contour color and a plumping color, like a volumizing color. So I think it's not like they're actually highlighting and contouring, but it's like a blush in a different like approach. One is like a more contouring type of blush color, and the other is like a more highlighting. I think this is more of the later one. It's not like it's no like atmosphere. It's more like one is towards the cheekbones, so towards the perimeter of your face, and one is at the center of your face. So I'm thinking to apply this shade, and it actually looks pretty pigmented on the brush rather than in the pen. So I think it's gonna like have some payoff on my skin, and see this. Like I'm not even going that hard. I'm just, let me show you, okay? I'm just going this, and this is what we're getting. I don't know why they decided to make this so loosely pressed. Is this something have to do with the like the embossing? Not sure. Oh, for sure it is showing on my cheeks. I actually kind of like this pink color. You might not be able to see it super well because it's blended with the previous powder cream blush or liquid blush. Yeah, it's actually pretty similar. It's just a little bit more pinky, and it has a little bit of this like skin-like finish, and I really like it. Actually, right now I kind of like how this side looks a lot. Like I kind of like that Florasis foundation, but it just the color is just horrendous. So again, don't think I'm gonna buy the full size. But yeah, this blush is actually showing pretty nice. Close this curtain a little bit so you can actually see. Going pretty hard with this pigmentation so you can see. So in real life, I look like I have like a monkey's ass type of cheek. So now let's use this highlighting color on the, like towards the center. See this? You see the kind of the plumping effect. I think it's pretty obvious actually, and it blends pretty nicely with this blush. Of course, they are designed to use together. Use this blush color to do some highlight on other places. In the corner of the eye, see there? And under the brow bone, on the bridge of my nose, and on the, for some reason, on the side of my nose. Okay, again, I feel like because the uneven lighting, it looks like my nose contour is a little bit crooked, but I swear in real life it doesn't look like that. For the lips, we actually have one thing from this brand that I cannot pronounce. And we also have a setting spray from them. They have a lot of odd colors in their lip collection, and I got a clear black one. I'm thinking, how do I apply this? Maybe we can try this on its own and then try to layer on something else. Has some floral smell, so if you don't like that, be careful. A little bit sweet as well. I don't think I'm gonna wear this on its own though, but I think this could be nice layered on top of like some two vibrant colors. Let's use this Season Lip Maker in the shade 02 Cool Pink. Okay, let's try to layer a little bit of this to see how it looks against other lip products. Don't want to apply too much. I think it's actually pretty nice at like kind of calming down a shade if you don't apply too much. Do you want to layer something else on top? Because I don't think this is like very glowy. I want a very glowy lip. Then let's try this, again a brand I can't pronounce. the long-lasting setting spray. Let's see the sprayer. Oh, it's pretty nice. It looks like it's a pretty fine mist. Okay, I've been away for a couple minutes and this is completely dried. I feel like my skin look pretty glowy, but it's still like it's matte. I feel like the setting spray added some glow to my face for some reason. Why my hair looks so crazy on the camera? Okay, whatever. It is what it is. But this lip gloss swatch has been on my hands for a couple minutes. And do you see this separation? I don't think it would be good if you apply a lot on your lips. It's probably gonna separate just like that. Okay, it's about 7 hours later, and let's do an update and a final roundup of this makeup. I feel like overall I didn't get super oily at all. It probably has to do with the weather, but my skin was a little bit tight at the beginning and then it just feels like normal. And I, again, don't have that much oil at all. Like you can see, even if I touch it, it doesn't really like become more matte or anything. I feel like I really liked that powder. I want to purchase a full size of the powder. The powder is really good. It set the whole makeup super nicely. Again, love the powder. For the blush, I loved the blush as well. You can see it's still all there. Even though on this side, again, it's a little weird, like I mentioned before. It's like peeling off. But I just think it's the foundation, it's not this blush, because this side is way better. And when it comes to these two foundation, I feel like I love neither of them. Neither of these are gonna be my favorite. But if I would pick one, I would pick this side, the Florasis one. Like I mentioned before, again and again, it just works better with liquid blush on top, and overall is, I wouldn't say it's a less cakey or anything, because this side looks fine as well, but I just feel like it looks a little bit less heavy on my skin. Not that this one looks like gross or something, it just like overall this side look like it has less, like a thinner of a layer on. It sits closer to the skin. Whereas this side, I think still it's not too ugly or anything. Like I still would use this if I had like a full-size bottle or anything. But I just don't think I would purchase a full bottle. This Timage one, if you didn't remember. I feel like maybe me and Timage foundation are just not, we're just not a good match. Like we shouldn't be together. Because the previous one feels a little bit heavy as well. And heavier than this. This one is way better and I love the coverage as well. And I think the color is better for me. Like I don't see that much of a difference with my neck. This side is a little bit bad. Like it's been oxidized a little bit, so it's not as bad, but I still think it's a little bit too pinky and a little bit too light. And both of these, like I mentioned before, are the darkest shade. Which, I don't know, I think at this point, is it really meaningful to say, oh, this is horrendous or anything? Because I feel like these brands don't really care. No matter what you say, they don't care, because they are more geared towards the Chinese market, and people in China, like who wears makeup, prefer a brighter complexion. So even if they do like darker shades, it probably wouldn't sell that much, and they are trying to do a business, right? I don't know. I think 0 to 100, this side is like maybe 65 to 70, and this side is like 55 to 60. This palette, I kind of love this. Like the blush is still there. It's still pretty much there, and to my surprise, this is actually a very great brightening powder for me, and it doesn't look heavy, because sometimes when I try to put some brightening shade here, it just feels heavy. But this one, it just feels like a normal setting powder that's layered there. It's like super smooth and flat, and it did make my face look like plumper a little bit. And this blush is beautiful as well. I actually very glad that I picked this shade versus the actual viral shade on Xiaohongshu, the peachy one. I think this shade is a little bit more wearable than I thought, because from the official photo, I thought this one would be like a very cool toned, like Barbie pink type stuff. I thought it would be like that, but it's not. All the shades are actually pretty nice, and these mattes, the matte eyeshadows, are pretty sheer. And this one that you think would be good for contouring is a little bit too purple. Like there's purple undertone, even though you can't see the purpleness in the pen, but if you blend it on your skin, you can kind of see it a little bit. But the shimmer and the glitters are like their normal quality. It's great. And I think these shades are looking a little bit odd actually on my eyebrow, but it's not like very visible that you can see. So I feel like in a pinch it still could work. And like I mentioned, the matte shades has a lot of kickoff, so if you don't like that, that's also a thing to know. So overall, this is something that I probably wouldn't recommend everybody to buy, but if you could bear with the, you know, the cons that I mentioned, and you like the concept of this palette, I still think this would be a good choice. I just don't think this is gonna be something that I would be very confident to recommend to everybody. And I'm actually gonna do a video to review and compare and talk about all of these all-in-one palettes from C Beauty, because this is a super big trend in the C Beauty community. There's a lot of brand doing all-in-one palettes, and I'm very interested. Like I feel like me buying so many all-in-one palettes just defeats the purpose. Like they are trying to say, oh, you only need this one for your whole face, and I'm buying a ton of them. but you know, now I'm trying to take this channel a little bit more seriously, and one thing it's very effective to grow a beauty channel is to review products for people. So that's what I'm trying to do here. And if you are, you know, you are very kind and you are worried about my financial status, to be clear, I'm in nowhere in debt for all of this. Like I still save about a third of my income every month, and I just don't buy anything else. Like I don't buy clothes, and I don't have a very expensive hobby other than makeup. Like I don't go travel that much either. And for food, like I love food, but I don't spend like a ton on it. So like this is the only hobby that costs me money basically. So yeah, just know I'm fine. For this palette, because this is just an eyeshadow palette, I just feel like I have less to say about this, because again, it's just an eyeshadow palette. It's like an okay one. I think my favorite, actually I'm gonna do a dedicated video on this, but I think my favorite Florasis eyeshadow palette is the Swan Ballet one. And I still think this one doesn't compete to that one, and I don't even think this goes to the second one. But the packaging, like always, is gorgeous, and there's nothing wrong with this palette. It's like a great warm toned palette. Like I would love to have this in my collection. I don't really recommend this thing. Did I even tell you what this is? I think this is the mirror lip lacquer or something like that. I'm gonna put all of the name in the description box. As I showed you before, it separates. So I don't think this is something you could apply a lot on your lips. This is probably just to layer on top in a very thin layer, so it doesn't really separate. I think if you apply a whole lot of it and just leave it there, it's just gonna separate as the swatch I did for you. Even though I really like this packaging, it's giving cosets for some reason. And I do like the concept of this brand because on their official photos, I can see they have a lot of unique color, like unique lip colors, which I really appreciate because I feel like recently people are just repeating like old shades. Nobody's trying to do like new things, and this brand has a lot of nuanced colors. I kind of hope that I like actually bought like a color, not a black one, but just to try the formula. Yeah, not my favorite formula. If I would rate it, it's probably like 40 out of 100. Setting spray. Actually, it's hard to tell because I didn't wear a mask today. If I wear a mask, I could tell you like how transfer proof this is, but my makeup wore beautifully. Like my eyeshadow didn't fade. It's all fine. The sprayer, it's like on the good side, but it's not the best. Like, don't know how well you can see this, but it's still pretty fine. This one is my favorite. This is from Kosei. It's their Make Keep Mist EX. I don't know if you can tell the difference. This one is like a cloud. So I love the sprayer of this one way more. This one is not spitting, but it's harsher than like a very fine mist. I kind of think it's working, but I need to test this more. And again, I'm like having all sorts of different video ideas, and this is definitely in the Asian beauty setting spray type of video. Yeah, that's all. That's all I have to say today. Thank you very much for watching. Hope this is helpful. See you next time. Bye.